My name is Cassia, and I wanted to talk about the fundamentals of rowing. Make sure you subscribe to our video and comment down below. And make sure you like this video. And thank you for watching if you subscribe. And I wanted to tell you, have a nice time learning all of these moves about foam rolling. So, bye! And our muscles, and our glutes, and our biceps, and our hips. Bye! Thank you.
Let's go into the back. It's really important that as you begin, we're going to start in the low back first, then we're going to go up to the mid-thoracic area, and then to the upper portion. So you're going to spend your time in pretty much 1/3 of the area, so at a time. So we're going to be doing 20 rolls in one section, 20 rolls in the midsection, 20 rolls in the upper section. This is just how I'd like you to begin. This is the protocol that I establish in my office with my patients, and I really find it to be supremely effective. So if you can do it this way, it'd be really helpful. And please go throughout the full extent of your back. Don't just focus on one area thinking that that's going to be, what you need, especially if you're just rolling in the place of pain. You want to roll throughout the whole network of all of these muscles throughout the back, because there are tie-ins that you're not aware of that are, I think, invariably always there because of just all the muscles trying to leverage us and keep us up on two legs. So it's really important to do the entirety of the back and not just focus singularly on one section. So let's drop in from our glutes and let's start doing our low back. Ideally, you should have the roller right behind you, meeting the upper portion of the crest of your hips, and then just come back in extension until you feel the rollers push against your spine. Contract your muscles a little bit. You won't have to do much of it. Here's what I like to do. I like to just keep my legs open just a little bit more. It just provides me a larger hip range of movement. So here's what you're going to be doing. Before you begin, take some breaths and really start to settle in. If you're already feeling pain here as you're moving your back into the roller, why don't you do that for probably about 10 repetitions, as far as you can. Push into your pain, just come up. You'll find that that's helpful before you start initiating the roll. So let's start. I'm going to come back in extension on the roll, and I feel the weight of the roller, but it's not a tremendous amount of pressure. Now notice my butt is low, if not touching the floor, and I like to have it there, especially when you're doing the low back, instead of bringing it up in a bridge. Just, you have no business putting that kind of tension, and I think it's a little bit, this is a very vulnerable area, so you do have to be cautious, and so that's why I advocate going slow and using your breathing and keeping your butt low. So let's start the movement. I'm holding my glutes, and I'm almost in a kind of a choo-choo train fashion. I'm getting this kind of movement in play. Lifting up my hips just a little bit, rolling back, putting my shoulders all the way back to the floor, using my breathing. Ideally, my head is also back in extension. You can go about this level of slowness. I think it's just important. If you don't feel any tenderness whatsoever in this movement, you can skip ahead and you're well on to advanced foam rolling techniques. But for our purposes, if you experience lots of tenderness, go slow. Meet that pain head on. Now notice, the roller is automatically stopping at where I want to go in the mid-thoracic area. So you're going to be doing 20 repetitions in the low back, just what I was showing you. And then you can roll up to the mid portion. And now we're pretty much staying within the thoracic midline proper. And here, you can actually lift up your glutes a little off the floor, probably about, let's say, 4 inches. And you can raise you can raise yourself in a bridge to the level that you feel appropriate for your specific condition. This would probably be the height of what someone could do, per your own body. But that's a lot of loading. I wouldn't recommend that, so keep your butt a little bit lower. So here's the movement. I like to continue to hold my glutes, or if it's too much strain on your neck, you could support your head with one hand or both hands. Very easy breeze. It just allows a more openness of the hips. Now in the same way as I was doing in the lower portion, I'm just bringing it up in a much larger arc. Now my neck is getting a little tense, so I want to relieve some of that pressure off of the neck. Okay, so I think you've got the idea. 20 repetitions in that area as well. Let's move on to the upper thoracic area. This is my favorite. This has a lot of variability for what you want to do. Now everyone's body is different, so make sure that you're exploring the full range of what you've got to give. Twist and turn, use movement of your arms. This is really where you get a lot of great movement, not just in the upper thoracic area, but also the shoulder, scapular region. You can really do a lot here. And these are the muscles that really get overworked because of our jobs. Computer driving. These are really all the muscles that are brutally damaged, through, sleeping on one side progressively. And, so work with the movements. You can do a lot. So here we go. I'm in the upper area. My glutes are up just a little bit higher. And here, notice I'm positioning my legs in various ways to facilitate perhaps different kinds of movements for me, and a little pause and relief as well. Notice how I'm just moving around, oscillating, finding those muscles that are tender, exploring the range of movement. So up here, so you saw me in that same position. Here's upper thoracic. I can grab my head, and now I'm doing more of a flexion position. You might even get, with breathing, lots of large cavitations right there, lots of adjustments in the upper thoracic portion. It just feels so fantastic. Make sure you're going slow. You can try extension, which is really bringing yourself up more in a bridge like this, alternating side to side, doing some stretches of the cervical spine. This just feels fantastic. It's a wonderful relief position. I can feel all the musculature of the abs, which I'm tightening just a little bit, but mostly it's going to be in the pelvis and in the quads. Just maximizing that stretch, feeling that powerful just thrust in this position. It's pretty awesome. Your shoulders. There's lots of things to do here. Look at all these dynamic positions. And I'm rocking my body in a way to make that contact. Let me reposition because I've gone out of range. So really, from this position, you can do so many things. I like to have my hand in extension more than anything. And there's lots of stretching that you can do. That just feels fantastic, going over the traps. Keeping your arms down like this. This is just wonderful for the posterior shoulder, scapular, rhomboid area. Just to, let your arms hang as loosely as possible and just going over that area. Just feels so magnificent. Oh yes, rhomboids. Let's show you that. So from this position, you're positioning your foam roller right in between your scapula area, right atop the rhomboid muscles, which is in between the spine of the scapula and the thoracic spine. So here, I'm gonna grab my head with my right hand, and I'm gonna place my left hand atop my right elbow. And really what I'm doing, my line of drive is pushing this elbow and shoulder down to the ground while I'm creating a scoop movement while using breathing. You can really get some nice cavitations in the thoracic area and perhaps even a rib or two that have subluxed from posteriorly. A wonderful position for the low back is really to roll. My wife, Michelle, just did this yesterday with her yoga cushion, her yoga block, and I've been doing this for a while with a foam roller, and I just think this is fantastic. The position of this roller is right on my sacrum, right on top of the posterior superior iliac spine, just a little bit on the upper portion of the crest into the low back area, just a little bit paraspinals, but most of my weight is supported by my sacrum and pelvis. I really just like to do this if you're feeling a deep, dense, nagging discomfort in these areas. This is just a wonderful position and a wonderful technique to be doing, just oscillating back and forth, spreading out your arms, using your breathing. At first, you're gonna be, especially if it's really tender, do what you can, move within the ranges that you're able to, and then as you start to progress, these get wider, and I'm locking my ankles so that I can go into these wider places. This is really wonderful to be able to go into these areas, put pressure, make sure that you're really relaxing all of your musculature, recognizing any holding that is going on in muscles, especially your glutes. Make sure you fully let go so that you can feel just the amazing pressure that this is trying to exert on these structures so as to help you. Move slowly and use your breathing. And I would do about, I would say 10 repetitions of these on each side. Super important, nice and slow, and it feels fantastic, especially if you're waking up with pain in the mornings in the low back. These are also wonderful, just more flexion of the lower trunk. Use your breathing. When you get more advanced, you can start to bring out your legs. You can do pretty much anything. You can spread them,